Okay, so who here is really fucking sick of this, or this phrase, or this kind of soundbite? Think good thoughts and good things will happen. Has anybody ever heard that? Especially when you're feeling desperate, down and out, like you got nothing to hang on to and you want to strangle the person who said that to you. Here's the thing, while that is technically true, it's not a helpful soundbite for most traumatized humans. Those of you who do not know me, I am Ingrid H. Turner. I'm the boss bitch at the Mystic Bitch Show. This is a live podcast recording. I'm here to answer your questions, to talk all things spirit, mystical, psychic development. You name it, we're here for it. So I'm a psychic medium. I'm a psychic development teacher, and I'm a somatic manifesting coach. And what I'm here to do is help people find themselves, help you learn to trust yourself, to bring your weird and wonderful out into the world. You are the people who I connect with, the ones who feel like a misfit. You feel like the black sheep of your family. You don't really fit in. You know you don't fit in. It doesn't mean people don't like you. It doesn't mean people are mean to you necessarily. It doesn't mean you have enemies. It just means there's a little touch of awkwardness to your human experience, or you have experienced that. If that's you, I'm so glad we found each other, because I'm here to help you. One of the ways I do that is through teaching psychic development to help you tap into your psychic gifts. And the reason it's so important for you to tap into your intuition, your psychic gifts, to learn to trust yourself so completely is because you have spent a lifetime being told that you're weird or getting the message that's not quite right. And when you learn to trust yourself, right, embrace that awkwardness, that weird and that wonderful, that is when you are able to truly bring your gifts out into the world. Because you're weird, because you're unique, because you have something amazing to offer this world. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for finding me. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get to it. But because it's Thanksgiving, and the energy of Thanksgiving is around gratitude and thankfulness and appreciation, even though I understand that the actual historical shit that went down was not so in line with that, like the fluffy things that we celebrate now, I want to embrace that yumminess. Okay, good. Manifesting. We love it. Okay, so who here is really fucking sick of this, or this phrase, or this kind of soundbite? Think good thoughts and good things will happen. Just think good thoughts and good things will happen. Has anybody ever heard that? Especially when you're feeling desperate, down and out, like you got nothing to hang on to and you want to strangle the person who said that to you, or punch a hole through your computer screen when it comes across your screen. Here's the thing, while that is technically true, it's not a helpful soundbite for most traumatized humans. And the truth of the matter is, most of us carry trauma. Not all of us. A lot of us carry trauma. A lot of different things can be traumatizing, okay? So that trauma makes manifesting, right? Think good thoughts, change your life. Change your fucking thoughts, change your fucking life, right? Aggravating, right? You can't do it. No matter how much you change your thoughts, no matter how much you try your best to shift and change how you think, things are not manifesting in your life. You are focusing in your mind so hard on the things that you want. You want a better relationship. You want a new job. You want more money. You want life to be easier. You want to show up happy and fulfilled. And you're focusing your mind on these things and nothing is changing in your life. So what's up with that? Here's what's up with that. The block to manifestations for you, the block is not so much your stinky thoughts. Okay, we all got stinky thoughts, right? You can't really control your thoughts. Like, you ever look at somebody and have a snap judgment and you think you can control that? No, we all have those thoughts. This inability to shift your thinking and to shift your energy and line up with the abundance that you are calling out to the universe for is because of stuck energy in your body. Your trauma literally sticks in your body. So this stuck energy in your body is from traumatic experiences and also your conditioning. By conditioning, what I mean is you are conditioned out of your authentic experience, especially you Because you're weird. Because you're a misfit. Because you're a black sheep. And so you have butted up against this pushback of your authentic experience and your authentic expression. And I don't care what anybody says, conditioning is traumatic. And so all of that conditioning, the messages that you got, that you internalized, that you were not good enough, the difficult, challenging experiences that you had throughout your life that you did not know how to process, because nobody teaches us how to feel our damn feelings. So what do? We do the best we can. We stuff it. We push it away. We run from it. We try and figure, right? All of that you are carrying in your body. And it is putting itself, like burying your light, your power, your incredible manifesting power. Because make no mistake, you can and you will manifest. Shit will change as soon as you address the stuck energy in your body. You can't change the mind with the mind. It has to be a body experience. People who have dealt with less trauma tend to have an easier time manifesting. Because changing your thoughts isn't enough when your nervous system is in shambles. And that's what happens with that stress response, the fight or flight. People who've dealt with less trauma tend to have an easier time with their thoughts and their energy and pointing it in the right direction to manifesting what they bring into their experience. Now, remember that trauma is subjective too. There's no comparing trauma. Some of us, you, are really, really, really sensitive. And when you're really sensitive, things can really knock you off your feet and throw you on your ass. And somebody else who's not here for quite the same sensitive experience is going to brush it off. They're not going to identify that as a trauma for them. But for you, it's going to feel traumatic. Bam, you're holding it in your body now because nobody ever taught you how to release that stuck energy from your body. How heavy do you feel in your body? When I just want you to check in with your body. How much energy am I holding in my body? And just get a sense of it. Just sit with it for just a minute. Right? Probably a lot, my beautiful, weird, sensitive bunnies. Because I know that was my experience, has been my experience. Now again, this doesn't mean you can't do it. You can absolutely transcend this. You can absolutely transcend this. And it means that manifesting, learning how to manifest becomes a healing journey. So as you heal, the more you get. As you heal, the happier you are. As you heal, the more you experience. Now, how cool is that? How cool is that? Manifesting is a healing journey. I call this somatic manifesting because it's not about focusing on your thoughts. It's about focusing in your body, bringing it to the body. And here's the secret to healing your trauma. And I'm not talking about making it all better. I'm not talking about it going away necessarily. I'm talking about integrating it, transmuting it, and bringing it out as your spiritual tool set. Or sometimes it'll just go away and heal itself. It doesn't really matter. Okay? All you have to do is feel your damn feelings in your body. I swear to God, it's that simple. Now, that can be really, 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 really hard for a lot of us who are like, I'm not no, thank you. That's a lot. With my technique, with my somatic manifesting technique, it only takes a few minutes and it clears out layers, years of stuck energy in a very short period of time. I want you to remember that your desire is so powerful. Your intention is incredible, my loves. You are God creator being. What you decide, the universe moves mountains for. So the truth of the matter is, you're the most potent and powerful being in this whole experience. It's all you. And that is not a blame thing. That is not saying, well, you just got to not be traumatized or heal your shit and then you can manifest. No, what I'm saying is that's the level of power that you have. You can call shit in, and as soon as the universe starts to move, you can block it because of the stuck energy that you're carrying. All we have to do is go through our life as a lived experience, and every time it comes up, We do our somatic work and we open ourselves up to this incredible manifested experience. That doesn't mean you have to relive your trauma. It means you deal with the energy in your body. And it takes courage. It does. You have to be a brave bunny. But I promise you, it's not nearly as horrifying as your mind is telling you that it is. Because what you're hearing now is a way to expansion, a way to expand into your highest expression, your next highest expression. And every time we are about to expand into new energy, to step into our power, to become the best possible version of ourselves available in this moment, guess what? The ego brain kicks into gear. The fear brain kicks into gear. And that's the first step in your somatic manifesting. That's what comes up. And your ego wants to contract back to what is safe. No, I don't want to feel it. I don't want to go there. No. But if you can stay with that fear, just stay with it. You will expand through it. And doors will open. Manifestations will occur beyond your wildest dreams. You call the shots. And the amount of power and the amount of fear that you experience is directly proportionate. I'm going to give you some concrete examples about how somatic manifesting works. I'm going to give you some examples from my own life because this is powerful shit. And it happens so much faster than it took to build up the stuck energy in your body. All right. The first one, my intention. So I set my intention at one point. This was sort of earlier in my career. Now, when I went into psychic and spiritual work, I had a really strong belief that I couldn't make any money from this. There was no way I could make a business out of this, that I could make it my livelihood. And I had to work on, okay, my intention is to manifest a living wage, right? I just want to be able to survive. I just want to be able to support me and my kid. I was a single mom at the time, all right? So what would happen is I would make some money and then it would immediately go away. Or I'd have a big bill come in, something like that. And every time that happened, I would clamp down tight on the money that I had and eke it out in little bits, or put off paying bills to the last possible minute because I was holding on really tight to the money that I had. Okay. And I kept setting my intention and then I kept clamping down. As soon as that money would need to go out somewhere, like where I wasn't expecting it or where I didn't personally want to put it, then I would clamp down. I would start holding on really tightly. I was afraid. Okay. And so then one day I received a lump of cash from a client. It was the most I'd ever received at one time in my business. And I'll tell you what, I had plans for that money. Yes, I did. I had plans for that. And I was going to spend it on some very specific things because I'd been living pretty Spartan for a while. We'd been living really Spartan, not making a lot of money. So I had plans. And the next day after I brought in let's call it $1,500. I forget how much it was, but it was like $1,500. And my son came in and he was holding his cat. And that cat was very, very ill. That was not a well kitty. And I looked at that unwell kitty and I went, oh, there goes all the money. And I felt myself clamp down because I know how expensive vet bills are. And there was no way I wasn't going to take my son's kitty to the vet. We got in the car and we were driving to the vet. And as I was driving to the vet, I was angry. Not at him, not at the kitty. I was angry about, once again, I thought, again, this keeps happening. I get a sum of money and it just goes away. It just goes away. And then I had this epiphany. I had Spirit visit me. Spirit said, expand through it. And I went, what? Expand through it. Trust it. And my body relaxed and I just went, okay, I let it go. There goes the money. Fine. So we get to the vet. They were super nice. They did everything they could to bring the bill down. It still took up the majority of the money that I just received that I had plans for. We were going to live good for a minute, right? So I just took a breath. I slapped down my debit card, gave my son a hug, and we waited. And let me tell you what happened after that. once I surrendered and expanded through that fear and insecurity and desperation that I had around money, I noticed my bank account never again went below what I paid for the vet. Let's say it was $1,500. My bank account never stayed below $1,500 for very long at all. It was always bouncing back up to $1,500. It was like I had a new baseline of abundance where I always had that. And even if like it went out, then it came right back in. It went out, came right back in. And so now my practice with money is to be expanding through the fear. When I feel that contraction, that's a good thing. So my work is to get into the somatic work. Where do I feel this in my body? Breathe through it, experience it, feel the fuck out of it, and then move towards it, move through it, expand through it, and it creates a whole new baseline for you. All right? So what was in the way of my manifestation? My trauma around fear and scarcity and money and desperation. I grew up with not a lot of money. My family, there was a constant conversation in our family about we're broke, we don't have enough money. We're barely making ends meet. So when I didn't have a job and I had to do it myself, I had a lot of stuck energy, a lot of conditioning around money and that money story. And ever since then, income's just gone up, up, up. As each layer I move through, I do that somatic work and I expand through it. And I encourage you to give it a try. Let me give you another story. This is sort of a more in-depth story, but this is really, really big. This is really big, all right? Oh my God. My teeth. My teeth. I have like teeth trauma, drama, a lot of shame tied up in my teeth. And this is very true for Americans. I don't know how true this is in the rest of the world, but I know certainly in America, you put a lot of stock in your teeth. Like your teeth are a message to your status. They're like a status symbol, I guess. Anyway, yes, my teeth are perfect. Thank you. And I manifested this shit. Okay. But here's where it all started. When I was 19 years old, I went to the dentist, regular checkup. The dentist told me, oh, you have periodontal disease. I said, wow, what's that? She said, it's like gum disease, but worse. It's like gingivitis, but worse. It runs in families. It's hereditary. Okay. Turns out my mother has it too. So 19 years old, I get diagnosed, but I'm 19 and I'm like, my teeth look fine. Whatever. I go on and do my partying thing, whatever I'm doing at 19, right? So a few years later, I go back to the dentist, and all this time I've kind of got this. I talked to my family about it, and like, oh yeah, bad teeth genetics, runs in your family, all of that stuff, right? So a few years later, I go to the dentist and I go to a hygienist, and this hygienist was terrible. She was terrible. She was so mean. She was so judgmental about my teeth because I was in my early 20s and I had this gum disease. And so I'm going in for a cleaning, and the whole time she's just sitting there like, oh, God, you have to take care of you're going to lose all your teeth by the time you're 40. You know that? And so I carried that with me, and I was like, oh my God. So I developed a lot of fear around my teeth. And then a few years later, I had a boyfriend who told me I had bad breath all the time. And it was compounding this shame. I was like, oh my God, my teeth are gross. I'm bad. I'm dirty. They looked fine. They were straight. But, I had this gum disease eating away at my teeth. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I need to manifest healing my gum disease, which is not curable, right? They say periodontal disease is not curable. Once you have it, you're fucked. I didn't want to deal with it. I put my head in the sand about it. And then I started to lose my back teeth. Okay, so I had to go in having those pulled. And then I started to get an infected front tooth. And I was like, oh my God. And so guess what? Guess what's coming up? Guess what's coming up? All this shame is just being boom. And what did I do? Every time I had that shame come up, I put my head in the sand. But at the same time, I was calling out, I need to heal this. I need to fix my teeth. I am manifesting this. I am God creator being. And when the shame came up, it was calling for me to do my somatic work. It was calling for me to expand through that shame. It was calling for it. And I kept putting my head in the sand. And so guess what? Nothing was getting fixed in my teeth. Until one day, I'd worked through enough of it. A friend of mine said, I go down to Mexico to get my teeth worked on. I said, do you? My body went, ooh. So I went down to Mexico with him. I went to a bunch of different places. I found a place that I liked, felt good. They talked to me. They looked at my gums. They looked at my teeth. My teeth are falling out, I'm not even 40. That hygienist put that thought in my head and I manifested it. Yes, I did, because boy, can we manifest all the icky stuff as well as all the yummy stuff. But I have found that going to the dentist is usually a pretty shame-filled experience. Now, partly I manifested that, but also partly I think that's a cultural thing. Like there's a lot of shame and blame around your dental health, and it's a lot of it is genetics. It just is, you know. So anyway, I went down to this dentist, and what they told me is, so what we can do is we can clean out all the periodontal disease, and we can put crowns on your teeth so you have a really beautiful smile. And then as long as you brush your teeth a certain way and you get a cleaning every 6 months, that periodontal disease won't come back. You can stay on top of it. You can manage it. And I went, that's too good to be true. And I thought about it, and I called them back, and I talked to them about it. And I went, okay, I'm going to do it. So I went down. I'd been to this dentist, going to go to Mexico for this dentist for a year. And it didn't fix it right off the bat. It was a hell of a traumatic experience to get the crowns on my teeth. Yes, they look perfect. But you know what I had come up when I got perfect teeth? Shame. Shame. Shame in myself. I was horrified. It took me like a month to get used to it. Now I'm like, oh my God, they're fabulous, right? So I'm getting there. I'm getting closer and closer and closer. I'm getting closer and closer and closer to my teeth being healed. But you see how it's a process. It's a process because I have to deal with the shit that's going on in my body. My mindset isn't enough. I have to deal with it in my body. So then a year later, I end up having to go back in because this tooth, they tried to do a root canal to save the tooth. The root canal failed, and I had to go back and get an implant. So I just went to the dentist, and I actually yanked my front tooth. I have a partial in right now. It's like a plastic denture thing. And I had to go through a bunch of shadow work. Every time I've gone to the dentist to get my teeth worked on, to make them perfect, has been a whole somatic manifesting experience where I have gone deep into my body, found that place of gratitude, and risen up having released a bunch of nonsense. And my gums are fine. They're a little inflamed, so they gave me some medicine, but they're not receding like they were. I have to manage them because it's my genetics, but I'm doing it, right? And then in 4 months, I'm going to go back and get an implant. And I got a hell of a deal because it's Mexico and everything is negotiable. Here's what was that? My intention. What was my intention? I want to heal my gum disease. I want to have nice teeth. I want to feel good about my teeth, all right? The stuck energy in my body was shame. Shame that I developed from my culture, shame that I developed from my family and their shame around their teeth, all right? Shame around the boyfriend who told me I had bad breath all the time. He was kind of an abusive dude. Actually, he was a hell of an abusive dude. So that was in addition to a lot of other stuff, but it locked in with my teeth, right? All of that. And I felt after this final dental experience, I had to go through the getting my front tooth pulled and dealing with that, moving through that. Once I did, I feel clear about that. I'm like, oh, I have nothing to be ashamed of. For the first time ever, I realized I don't have anything to be ashamed of. It's just gone. And that is incredible. So shame I was dealing with, I had to go through that experience, get through that stuck energy. And the result is I've manifested movie star teeth. Those are my 2 somatic manifesting stories. So you don't have to strangle the next person who says, just think good thoughts. Just change your thinking. You can call in what you're asking for, and you know every roadblock you hit is the opportunity for you to expand through it and forever remove that stuck energy in your body so you can be free of it once and for all. And then life gets easy, it gets fun, it gets fulfilling. My life is so good because I've been working on this for about 4 years probably. And I have 40 years of trauma, right? That I've built up. Like you. You can move through this. You can move through this and become an incredibly powerful manifester. I travel full time. That has been my lifelong dream. I had to do somatic manifesting around that too. Okay? I travel full time. I have a loving relationship. My son and I have a killer relationship. Oh my God, we're having so much fun. He just started jiu-jitsu classes. And I actually have, I've studied martial arts extensively when I was younger. So we're geeking on that together. It is the most fun thing ever. We're having so much fun. My life is so good because I use this somatic manifesting process. Okay, Q&A, folks. So to move through trauma, you have to feel it to release it. Yeah, to move through trauma, you have to feel it to release it. That's exactly it. And here's the thing. You don't need to know what you're feeling. The juiciest way that we tap into the stuck energy in our body is triggers. When you're triggered, which is an over-the-top emotional reaction to something, like somebody posts something stupid on Facebook and it makes your blood boil. You get really triggered. That's not about that person or what that person said. That is the stuck energy in your body pushing its way up to the surface, trying to get your attention. Literally all it wants is your attention. So yes, in a sense, you just got to feel it. Not with the story though. Like remember, the mind is not really helpful when we're working somatic manifesting. You got to get into the body with it. Okay, next question. How do we face the fear in our body? Like what do we do with it when we notice it? Be present with it. I know that's probably not as concrete as you're looking for, but what helps me is I ask myself, where do I feel this in my body? Where do I feel this in my body? Is it in my throat? Is it in my stomach? Is it in my head? Where is it? And then just focus on where it physically is in the body and be with it physically in the body. Bringing it to the body is really, really helpful. Okay, Renee, would a Reiki session help with stuck energy? Okay, yes, but then what we do is we bring it back in. Reiki, energy healing of any kind really, is great for getting that energy out of the body. But when you're in the habit of holding on to that energy, you're going to bring it right back in. So energy work in conjunction with somatic work, this somatic manifesting practice is going to really pack a punch for you. So that's something that I think would be really great to incorporate in your healing journey. But make sure you're continuing to do the work in your own body so that you don't inadvertently fill yourself back up, right? Just put it back in there. Hi, Lorraine. Through my life, I've caught shadows out of the corner of my eye. This is a great question. Those shadows you catch out of the corner of your eyes, you see something moving over here and you look and it's not there. That's a ghost. I call them friendlies. Okay. Ghosts don't hurt you. They can't hurt you. A ghost is a continuation of the human experience outside of the body. So somebody has died and their essence, their spirit is still here in the physical world, but they don't have a body. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that is? A lot of them are confused. A lot of them are bored and they don't really know how to make their way back to grace. Okay. They're having the human experience outside of the human body. There really are as many ghosts as there are as many people in the world. So the reason that you can see those is because you are what's called a physical medium. A physical medium has the ability to make spirit corporeal. All right. What that means is make it physical. The spirit will never be as physical as you and I, but it'll have some substance to it so that you can see it in the physical world. That's why you see that. Could it help with my daughter's anxiety? Yes, Randy. This somatic work will absolutely help with your daughter's anxiety. Anxiety is my jam. I have been an anxious bundle my entire life. Debilitating anxiety. I no longer experience debilitating anxiety because I sit with my fear and I expand through it and I use this somatic manifesting technique. So in addition to opening up everything in my life, everything that I want comes to me, I also no longer suffer from debilitating anxiety. So yeah, it's huge for anxiety. Question from Woody. I have very, very vivid movie-like dreams. So that's a sign of clairvoyance. If your dreams are crazy, vivid, like a madhouse, that's clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is clear seeing. Okay, it is spirit riding the waves of your imagination. And the reason it's showing up in your dreams is because you're not really using it in your waking life. When you start using your clairvoyance and paying attention more to your clairvoyance in your waking life, your dreams should calm down. Not entirely. You're still going to have real vivid dreams, but they should be less insane if you're using your clairvoyance in your waking life. Randy, I see old pets around me. So yeah, that's mediumship as well. Mediumship, let me differentiate channeling and mediumship. Mediumship is channeling or speaking to a being that was in a body in this physical world. So that could be a person or an animal. Naomi, I've had a leg grabbed while sleeping. What could cause that? That's also a ghost. Okay, so ghosts, and it's possible it could have been an entity. If it was an entity, you would have felt a lot of dread and fear preceding the leg grab. If you just got your leg grabbed, you get touched or poked or prodded, but don't have the dread leading up to it, then it's likely a ghost. They can do a little bit here and there, but not a lot. It really just scares the hell out of you. Now with a ghost, if you want a ghost to go away, it's as simple as telling the ghost to go away. So the ghost is not omniscient, okay? The ghost is like a physical being without a physical body. It can't read your thoughts. You have to speak out loud. And then 9 times out of 10, a ghost will just go away. Okay, now if you're dealing with an entity, that's a different scenario. Those buggers are mean. They still don't have as much power as we give them. Entities, dark entities, they use our fear to control us. The moment you conquer your fear, it has no more control over you. It has no juice to keep going. I'm going to tell you a story about my entanglement with an entity. I was living in a 150-year-old building that used to be a church. This had some dark energy. My apartment was the only one at the top, up the stairs, like 3 floors up. And outside, I could feel there's some really negative shit out there. But inside my apartment, I was pretty good about keeping my boundaries up. Well, one day it got in. What happened was I watched it come into my apartment, actually. My teenage son was going through a bit of a hard time, right? He's kind of going through a rebellion stage. He was hanging out with some not so great kind of folks. There was just some energy that was going on. And he came flying through the door, and I watched him come in, him and his friends come in. I watched this thing kind of stream in behind them, and I went, oh, it just kind of hitchhiked on, not because my son was, or his friends were bad or do anything wrong or dark or evil. They were just in that more difficult experimental place, that some teenagers go through. And so they were, experimenting with some darker shit, some drugs and stuff. So I watched this thing come in and went, oh, that's not good. And then they left, and I was there alone that night, and I was sleeping in the front room, and it was a really rough night. This thing tortured me. All right. It would wake me up at 3:00 in the morning. It rang my doorbell. It clapped. I heard my name in my head. It poked me. It prodded me. And so it was late at night. And even though I know that all I have to do is conquer my fear and this thing is toast, I couldn't do it when I was woken up at 3:00 in the morning with my doorbell ringing and creaking and noises. And oh my God, I was terrified. I had a really, really hard night. So the next day I tried to do some protections, kind of do my energy work, but I was tired and I was freaked out. And so it didn't work. It came back the next night, and I had another really hard night. And it was a really scary night because this thing was doing that, right? So I went to one of my students and I told her about it, and she had done some hoodoo, studying some hoodoo. She gave me a ritual and some material for a hoodoo ritual that would banish the dark entity. So that night when that thing came back, I got out of bed and I did the ritual. And when I did the ritual, what it did is it gave me something physical to house my faith. It gave me something to escape my own head and my own fear. And so my faith could come in and banish that thing once and for all. The hoodoo ritual itself worked. It's good. It's a good form. But what really works is your faith, is conquering your fear. Once you conquer your fear, an entity has no control over you because it can't really do much in the physical world unless you really give it a lot of power. And we give it a lot of power with our fear. But I also understand that, in the middle of the night, if you're having this experience, controlling your fear is a really hard thing to do. So it's fine to use rituals, whatever it is you need to do that gives you that sense of faith and empowerment. That's how you get rid of those kind of things. I hope that was helpful, darling. Randy, this is your daughter. She's so anxious and cries at the drop of a dime. She's probably very, very empathic. I was a crybaby when I was a kid. I'm very empathic, and it has made me very anxious. She's probably always feeling a lot of energy around her. So helping her ground, helping her tap in with her gifts will be really helpful, and doing the somatic work will be really helpful as well. But that crying at the drop of the dime, that means that she's trying to process emotions that are not hers, and she's completely overwhelmed. What if you dream a dead loved one came back to life? Usually these are visitation dreams. So if a departed loved one shows up in your dream and is very vivid and you can really feel the resonance, then that's a visitation in your dream state. Again, loved ones visit us in our dream state because when we're in our waking mind, we're too in our head. There's too much noise going on. They can't get through. When we're sleeping, our mind levels are down. We're not getting in our own way. Sarah, I fell asleep while driving. Something pushed my shoulder and woke me up. Wide awake after that. Ooh. Oh, honey. Good. Okay. So that was something protecting you. That was something coming in. That to me feels like it was a guide and a loved one combo. Our loved ones can show up as our guides after they are gone. I kept dreaming that my dead son came back alive. Well, Lisa, I'm so sorry that you lost your child. I cannot imagine the pain that you went through losing your son as one mother to another. And I would say that if those dreams are a really good feeling, if you have a really beautiful, loving feeling from those dreams, then your son is coming back as a visitation. If it's more like scary or dark or chaotic, then that's your subconscious processing what's going on while you're asleep. I know things before they happen, says Steffi. I know things before they happen. Sometimes it's just a split second before, and sometimes it's days. Claircognizance, honey. That is clear knowing. That's when you just know shit for no reason. You don't know where it came from. You don't know how you know. It just lands. And you're like, I just know. Thank you all so much. If you want to binge other episodes of the Mystic Bitch Show, go to the link, go to my bio. The link for the Mystic Bitch Show is there. You can binge all the episodes. Lots that we're learning. Lots that we're going to continue to learn. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. I adore you. Thank you for everything. I will see you soon.